using it about a year before Katrina hit, and I could just see the difference. And when I tell people, they ask me what's different with me, and I said, I can get just as frustrated and stressed and mad now, but I don't have to stay there, and I can switch quickly. So it's not a matter that I don't get stressed, is that I recognize it quickly, I switch, and I'm done with it. I'm out of it. We went out in the field for at least a month after Katrina hit. A month to 6 weeks, we were going to different shelters, churches, wherever was housing people. And nothing but praise as to how quickly HeartMath responded to that. And again, our clients are benefiting from it. A lot of stress-related issues after Katrina hit. Of course, we had a lot of people coming into the agency that we worked with. Most of them displaced, living in shelters, lost everything in New Orleans. But probably anxiety and depression are the two most common presenting problems that come into the agency. And a lot of grief. I mean, people are grieving the loss of their neighborhoods, their homes, their schools and everything. So a lot of grief issues in an atmosphere that everything was out of control. I mean, they couldn't control anything in their lives. What we did is, the one thing you can control is how you choose to perceive things. And the best way to do that is to focus on your heart and get out of your head, because you can always go back and worry about it later. And so that's kind of the approach that we took, that with all the externals that they could not control, really the only thing they could control is where they want to focus on, their perception. Kind of like, and then I typically teach them the quick coherence technique to practice, and then they can see that wave pattern change, and they can see the coherence go up, and it's a really empowering thing. Using it with some kids, we had an 8-year-old kid whose family, they lost everything, and they came to the agency about 6 weeks ago, and have an intern working with him, and they just couldn't engage him. I mean, he would literally put his fingers in his ears and hum during the session. He was just very, very mad because they lost their home, their schools, everything. And after about 2 or 3 sessions, the therapist wasn't getting through to him, and so we actually used the emWave to engage this 8-year-old boy that now he wants to come to therapy. He got on there and he loved it. Now he wants to come back to therapy. So I think it's a great application with ADHD kids. Of course, anxiety, using it with anybody with anxiety, using it with people with hypertension, with medical problems that are exacerbated by stress. I think that's a great application for it. And I'm just excited about all the different areas you can just put this in. Well, one application I'm experimenting with now is that I have this client who had a horrific past, and she's about 28, and she has a son who is 7, and she has a newborn baby who's 8 months old. And she had postpartum depression after each pregnancy, and she has not bonded with either one of these kids, and not bonding with the second one either. And she talked about that. I mean, she said that, I hate that I don't feel close to him, and so much so that she didn't want to be left alone with him, that her husband had to be there, and they had work problems because she did not want to be alone with her 8-month. She didn't think that she would hurt the child, but she just felt she didn't trust herself. And what I did, I had her bring the baby to a session. We did it twice, and the second time I asked her what was going on, and then she says, I just remembered when he was first born. And I says, what do you remember? She says, I was amazed. And so for the first time, she could actually remember a positive feeling about the birth of his son.